Hey, I wanted to jump on here real quick and just kind of give you a kind of a perspective of how I live with things I can't control. And the focus of this video, don't be a salty heifer, is the administration that we have in our government. A lot of people, one way or the other, depending on who's in charge, there's always going to be people that are upset about it. And I see so many of my friends and community that put themselves in outrage over conflicts or whatever going on that's on social media and the news. But you have to keep your joy. So in order to do that, you need to maybe have a different perspective of what's going on. So I thought, well, let me make this little quick video because I've had multiple careers, jobs, whatever, that I really didn't like. Either I didn't like the corporation as a whole that I worked for, or I didn't believe in the management, or maybe just actually a boss. I mean, it varies over multiple decades that I've been working. But at the end of the day, I needed that paycheck to feed my family, to support myself, to support my family, whatever the life season that I was in at the time. And so I endured. There was one company I worked for 15 years, which is kind of a long time nowadays. Most people aren't sticking with jobs that long. That it was a management situation. There was a shift in management. They come and go. And there was a personality conflict. I don't know what the situation was, why they were challenging me the way they were. With that being said, I needed the income. So you have to endure to get the check. And our country is basically like a business. It's like a corporation. So, whoever's in charge, we can't change that. I know people think they can. They think if they bark on social media long enough, they can have somebody impeached or whatever. But reality, let's get real. You're not going to change it. The only thing that's going to change it is the next cycle when you vote somebody different in. So let's figure out how to get from here to then with our joy, maintaining our sanity and our joy, because we need the income, we need the job, we need, and so let's just not worry so much about what's going on and just focus on what's inside your heart and inside your family. You can focus on the negative and it will keep you feeding that negative. You got to figure out what you're going to feed. Are you going to feed the positive in your soul, or are you going to feed the negative in your soul? Because that generates your emotional in where you state where you're in. So either you're going to be a constant state of negative energy and hate, or you're going to live in joy and peace and serenity, which is where we need to be, because that's where rational thought comes in. You are not able to think rationally and respectfully. All the things related around a positive living versus a negative. So that's all the point of this, is just try to find a way to endure whatever it is you're going through, or whatever administration we're under, without so much anger in your heart. But just, it's like, this is a necessary evil as this at the time. And I'm not saying the current administration is evil, because I don't have a problem with it. But then I know a lot of people that do. And so, because I've gone through seasons where I was just living in this anger and hate and didn't want to be here anymore. But at the end of the day, I needed to feed my family. So figure out what you got to do to change your perspective of the situation. Control what you can control. It's just that simple. And my suggestion is try to find your spiritual center. If you need a place of peace, and for me it's Jesus. it's God, it's learning the Bible, it's, connecting with my church family, my family is where I find my peace and joy. And so I don't try to, if you don't focus on the negative, then you're not living in the negative. So that's my little suggestion. I hope you have an amazing day. Be blessed.